Hello. This is Els coming to you from Bemis Crafty Corner. And today I want to talk to you about something that I saw over on Mad Paper Scraps. And it was basically, she took an envelope, just a legal size envelope. She sealed it up. And she folded it sort of along this line. And then she cut this part off and this part off. And she glued this together. And she had a little pocket here, and she had a little pocket on the side, and she had a pocket here, and then she had a pocket at the top. And I thought, that's really cool. But I can do better. So, these were born. Now, I made this one in a live stream, and I didn't finish it. But made this one in the actual video, and I did this one last night and finished it out completely just so you guys could see. I have a piece of ribbon running through, and I just put a little slit back here, and I did mini pamphlet stitches top and bottom on this to hold it all together, and I'm calling it a Flippin' tag book. So you come inside, I put this little tab here and open it up, and in here is a little tuck pocket with tag, and then there's a pocket with tag. Close this, flip this over, and we have another tag back here, and you have the ability to put a tag pocket right in here between the two pieces. And then you could add a pocket, like a corner pocket here. You could add a corner pocket here. You could add another pocket here. So you could, in theory, have 1, 2, 3, 4, possibly a half pocket, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pockets. Okay? So it's a great little size. It's only 4 inches wide. So it's a great little thing that you can put this in a traveler's notebook. You can put this into a journal if you want it to. Just anything that you wanted to do with this, and you can just add it to something, or you can keep it as is and just toss it in your bag. The tools we are going to need. Let's start with the biggest. You will either need 1 legal size file folder, 2 regular size file folders, or 1 regular size file folder and some big scraps that you may have from previous projects. In addition to this, you will want to have a paper pack, because we're going to be cutting out from the paper pack, so we're going to want to have a paper pack that we can use, whether it's a matched paper pack or you're just picking and choosing out of your scrap bin things that go together. Good idea. We're going to want some washi tape, and then some laces and trims for decoration, scoreboard, your cutter, some glue, some dimensionals possibly. You're going to want maybe some double-sided sticky tape or a tape runner, a corner rounder, a bone folder, a stylus or scoring tool, a pair of scissors, maybe some rubber stamps, and you're certainly going to want some ink and a dauber. Okay? So that's all the tools. We might come up with a few things as we go along, but that's the basics. Okay, so I'm going to be using the 2 file folder system simply because this is probably the easiest and most people have best access to. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut the file folder in half. So I'm going to go just past the fold line. I'm going to cut this off. Then I'm going to take this side. Doesn't matter which side I take. I'm going to measure this to 9 inches. And I'm going to cut that down. And then I'm I'm going to cut this to 8 inches so that I now have a piece that is 9 inches by 8 inches. We're going to put that to the side. We're going to take the other side of the file folder and we're going to remove the scored section. So I'm going to go just past the scored section. We're going to cut that off. Okay. Then we're going to turn our piece, and for the outside cover, we want a piece that is 8.5 by 6.5. So we're going to go up here and we're going to set this at 8.5. And then we're going to go to 6.5. So now I have a piece that is 8.5 by 6.5. And then the last piece is, the last piece that we're going to need is a piece that is 7 inches long by 4 inches wide. Now, unfortunately, the piece that we have left will not work. So we're either going to have to cut that out of a different file folder, or we're going to have to go into our file folder scrap pile and find a piece that is 4 inches, bigger than 4 inches wide. So I have one here from another one that I was using. So I'm just going to cut off the fold piece, and then I'm going to flip this completely over, and I'm going to go to 7 inches. And then I'm going to cut a piece off that's 4 inches. All right. In addition to that, you're going to want some strips. You can use the pieces that already have the fold in them if you'd like. But I find it's easier to just cut a couple of 1-inch strips. And you can do this on your little chopper. Okay, so don't get rid of any of the scraps because we'll always use those either in other projects or we will reuse them in this project. So I'm just going to get rid of some of the small pieces here, and I'm going to keep some of these larger pieces because these are great for making tags out of and pockets and things. So we're going to hold on to those. I'm going to get rid of these little pieces, okay? So we're going to put these to the side for the moment. And we're going to look at the 5 pieces that we've created. Now, on these 5 pieces, we obviously need to make some scores. So let's get out a scoreboard and let's get started on the scores. All right, starting with the piece that we have that is 9 inches by 8 inches. On the 8-inch side, okay, I want you to score this one at 4 inches. Go slow. Because with a file folder, it either does not score or it rips. Then I want you to turn it and put the 9-inch against the top, and at the 3-inch mark, we're going to put in a score line, okay? We're done scoring this one. We're just going to set it to the side. Now we're going to take the piece that's 4 inches wide and 7 inches long, and on the 7-inch side, we're just going to come in here right at the inch and score it. We're done with that one. And the next one is pretty much just as easy. This is the piece that we have that is 8.5 inches long by 6.5 inches wide. On the 8.5-inch side, you're going to just score this at 4 1/4. Then on the 1-inch strips, we're just going to score those down the center. Now you can fold these by hand if you want to. I just find that it's easier to do this if I do it on my scoreboard. So we're going to get both of these done. And what I do is I just kind of mark the top and then hold it. Makes it easier to come down the rest of the way. Here we go. All right, that's it for the scoring. At this point, you're going to need your bone folder. And we are simply going to fold all of our score lines and then just reinforce the folds with the bone folder. That's what this tool's is for, you know. Reinforce all of our folds, and we're just going to simply fold all of our pieces, making sure that they match up corner to corner, edge to edge. Just reinforcing our folds. All right. Now we get to the piece that's 4 inches wide by 9 inches long. You're going to fold the center score, and then you're going to fold the little 3-inch fold and score that. Then with the 3-inch piece on the side, on the left side, you take your scissors and you're going to remove that score line. So you're just going to cut one side. This doesn't have to be perfect. And we're only going to the center line. And then we're just going to cut on the other side of it. And if you pull that up, you can then remove the score line, so that when you fold it back over, you have a slice in the middle, okay? That's so that when we fold this up to create the pocket, we don't have all that bulk. Now, at this point, you may want to come in and just snip off the little corner, whatever's left. All right, so now that we have everything cut, we're going to round some corners. So you should have 3 pieces that now look like this. All rounded corners. All rounded corners. And all rounded corners. Okay? So once we have this, what you're going to do is go around and ink all of your edges. Fold everything. Make sure you ink the front here and here on this. Ink around the tab, all the sides, front and back. You're going to do the same thing here. You're going to ink all the way around, front and back. And then you're going to open this and make sure that you ink the inside here and here. Okay? Don't forget to ink this joint right here. Excuse me. Then you're going to ink this all the way around, front, back, and inside. Once you get it all inked, all done inking, I'll see you Let's talk about the inking. So on the piece that looks like this, I've inked all the way around, including the center on both sides, front and back. Okay? The next piece is this little flap right here, and we did the same thing. We inked all the way around, including the score line, inside and out, front and back. And then on this piece, on the outside, we inked all of our lines all the way around. On the inside, we inked here, 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 and up here. That's because when we fold this, and fold this, and we fold this, we want to make sure that if we're going to punch a hole, that you're going to see ink behind it, okay? So we're going to be punching a hole right here. So what I want to do is I want to ink right here. And you'll see I put a faint line there. So I'm going to take my inker, and I'm just going to add a little ink right across the middle here, right up to the line, okay? That way, when I poke a hole here, we'll be able to see, okay? Just ink behind it. It's just an in-case kind of inking. So we're going to be poking a hole here. So I went ahead and inked inside because we're going to put a half circle here. We're going to ink inside there. We're going to be putting a half circle here. So we inked inside here. Okay? Get the idea? So visualize. Visualize, people. Visualize. All right. I got to put this sorry silk ribbon away because it's driving me crazy, guys. so the next part of this is going to be with this part right here. This is the next part. This is important. We're going to be using a ruler. And what we're going to do is we're going to measure from that point to that point, which for me is 5 3/4 inches. And what I want to find is kind of the mid spot. And so it's almost 6 inches. So I'm going to say it's 3 inches. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, well, for the purpose of this, I'm going to use a pen so you can see. I'm just going to take a pen and I'm just going to go about 1/4 inch on either side of that 3-inch mark. Just like that. Can you see that? Probably not. Let me bring this up so you can see. See where I put this black line right here? Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm either going to use my scissors or my X-Acto knife or, you know, whatever. For me, I'm going to be using my my ceramic cutter, and I'm simply going to cut that line. Okay? I just want to cut it all the way through. Okay. So I've cut that line through, and I'm just going to put this here so you can see. And I put the line on the inside. See? I cut that through. And the reason that I did that is so that I can put a piece of ribbon in here. So the next thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be cutting the paper to cover these. So we want to take some measurements. Now, this card with the flap down is 6 inches by 4 inches. And I want to leave 1/4 inch all the way around. So I just take 1/2 inch off. So 3.5 by 5.5 for this piece. You can write it right on here because you're going to cover this if you want to. You go 3 1/2, 5 1/2, okay? You're going to want the same thing on the other side, but you don't want to write on that side. I mean, you can. It doesn't matter. Times 2, okay? I want 2 of those. So I'm going to put that to the side. Now, my next piece is this one right here. Now, if you want to use a scrap for this, you don't have to go all the way down. But this is 6 inches from the top to here. So again, you can cut a 3.5 by 5.5. So we need 3 of those. This is going to be folded up. So this piece needs to be, it's 3 inches by 4 inches. So 2.5 by 3.5. We need 1 of those. Here's another piece that's going to be 3.5 by 5.5, so 4 of those. And then moving over here, from the center out is 4 1/4 by 6.5. So you're going to do 6 by 4, because you're going to put it in. So 6 inches by 4 inches. And you're going to need 1, 2, 3 of those. So you're going to cut all of these paper pieces down, and then we're going to come back and I'm going to show you how to put all this together. Okay? Okay, so for this next step, I'm not going to ask you to get the measurements for this. I'm just going to tell you where they are, okay? So this is a 5.5 inch piece between here and here. So I'm going to come in 1/2 inch and make a mark, and 1/2 inch and make a mark, and then I'm just going to make a mark at every 1/2 inch in between. Okay, so it's 3 at the top and 3 at the bottom, and that's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to make this difficult. So we're going to take our cover piece and this piece, and we're going to basically line this up where it's going to sit inside, just like that. You want it even top and bottom. So we're just going to even it out a little bit. Hold on. Why is this corner not rounded?
around the corner.
Yep.
Shitty of it all.
I know. I know. Okay, so all I'm going to do is place this in here where I want it to be. And I'm going to make it even. And then I'm going to open this piece back up. And then see where I put those dots? We're going to poke some holes. 1, 2, 3. And then the 3 at the bottom. Okay? So 6 holes. So now on your outside piece, you should have 3 holes, a slit, and 3 holes. And then on your inside piece, you just have 3 holes and 3 holes, okay? So now we're cutting paper, and I have chosen 7 gypsies. This pack here that I scaventured of 7 gypsies paper. And I would be using this paper to decorate this particular folder. So let me get this all cut, and I'll be right back. Okay, so let's put this thing together. We've cut all of our paper down. We've got it all here. We cut some extra pockets and things. So let's get started. So the first thing we're going to be doing is taking a piece of vintage seam binding, and we're going to be fitting it through that slot that we put in the card. There we go. Just like that. So then we're going to cover this back piece with a piece of the paper that we cut. So we want to go ahead and round the edges on this. Then the Amy says I have to add a little ink to the paper too, so we're doing that. Okay. So I'm going to be using some glue here. I'm just going to put some glue on the back. All around the edges and then through the middle. All right. And I'm going to keep that piece of seam binding flat while I go ahead and get this part in. Okay, first part, done. All right, so before we glue anything on here or set anything on here, we need to affix this in. And so the fastest way to do that is to start in the middle hole of the top set and just go through. We're basically just going to be doing a very tiny, mini little pamphlet stitch. So now we have attached the centerpiece in as a page in the book. So now we can go ahead and get this sealed up. Now we want to put a tag in here, okay? So we don't want to have to do a 6-inch tag. So what I would do is I would come right about here. Three to 4 inches down, put a line of glue, and then you're going to use there. You're going to be using these little sockets. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to put the glue right here along the edge. And then we're going to go ahead and set this right on top so that the edge matches up to the outside edge here. And we're just going to cut that off. Just like that. We're going to repeat with glue on the top. And then we're just going to bring this over and glue it shut. And then press on that center where we put that bead of glue. Okay? So now we have a pocket here at the top. Here, we're going to put glue along the bottom. Go. And then we're going to be folding this up, and we're going to be putting glue on either side, okay? We don't want to put any bulk over here, so we're not going to be adding glue on the inside. Just regular glue over here, just to glue it down. But on this side, we're going to be using that little socket. So we'll put some glue on there. Give it a second to get tacky. I'm going to glue it right on that edge. Let it set up. And then I can come back with my little scissors and just kind of trim this off. All right. A little bit of glue here. A little bit of glue there. And let's close this pocket. Okay, so now once we have this all glued up, we're going to be putting a 1-inch circle in here. And there's lines on the side that tell you where the half point is. Okay? So if you take a piece of cardstock and you line it up with that line on both sides and you punch, it gives you that perfect half circle. Okay? So I'm going to line this up on both sides. Making sure I have it centered on my piece. There we go. I'm going to do the same thing over here. This pocket's a little tighter, so it might be a little bit more tricky to do this. There we go. There we go. And then right up here, we're going to do the same thing again. Nice and even. All right. So I have a pocket here, a pocket here, a pocket here. All right. So let's take a look. Now I wanted to put a pocket over here. So we open it up, and inside we have a little pocket here where we can put a tag. We have a little flip up here with some journaling space. We have space for a large tag up here, a tag here, a tag here. Close this up, move it over. We've got space to put a tag here. We can put a tag over here if we wanted to, and we can even add another pocket to the back. Okay? There we go. A Flippin' tag book.